Yo, what is up, guys? Mike Thomas, aka the Young Trishula here, and I am back with Twitch chat. We're live at twitch.tv/TrishulaTTV. Come check us out. We have a lot of fun over here. But today is a very sad day. Some of you guys might know that we have finally lost Chaos Ruler in the last safe bastion for Dragon Link in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! We lost him in the TCG first, then we lost him in OCG, now we've lost him in Master Duel as well. Chaos Ruler cannot be played anywhere that you try to play Yu-Gi-Oh! He had a good run. But we also lost the Wyver Burster, one of your two babies for Dragon Link, which now makes Master Duel the most hostile format to Dragon Link out of all three of the bunch. And that's really cool because it means that we get to experiment and try new things. And I've been playing a lot of the new format tonight. We've been up all night, so it's about noon when I'm recording this, and we started playing. I want to say at like 1 or 2 in the morning. So we've been playing for like 10 hours at this point. So I played a lot of the new format. I think I have a decent grasp of like how the format looks, and we've been playing a lot of Dragon Link, and I think I know kind of where we're at. And I want to share with you guys some of the games that we've had because I think the deck's been doing pretty okay. The deck doesn't feel dead, but some things that you might note in this format is that the hand traps that are being played have changed a lot, and some of them are kind of hostile to Dragon Link. So you maybe have to be a little bit more careful than you did before. Yeah, so you guys will see. But I have some replays that I want to share with you guys. But before we hop into those, I need you guys to do 2 quick things for me real quick. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. It really does help me out a lot. If you guys have been following the channel, you'll have seen that some of our recent videos have been doing very, very, very well. So huge shout outs to you guys. You guys are doing so good. So huge shout outs to you guys. Keep clicking the buttons. You know what to do. Second thing, you guys can go down into the description down below and download the Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck tracker for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Add some really cool features to the game, and you know, it's hard for me to play this game without it at this point because it does really cool stuff like allowing you to import and export decks, which should really already be in the game, as well as allowing you to track your stats and keep a tabs on just how you're doing as a player. So really useful, and you can download that with our linky in the description. Really does help us out, and it's totally free. So but you guys don't care about that, so let's get into the replays. So we're gonna switch over here. Once again, I noticed that some people followed me, so I'm just gonna point this out again. This is my Master Duel ID if you want to follow me on Master Duel. But let's hop into these replays. So I have 4 replays for us here, and 2 of them are against the new deck that people are really focusing, which is the Superheavy Samurai deck. And we also just have 2 decks where I just go first and like YouTube combo. So I figure it's worth showing both of you guys, like both of those types of games. So we'll just go through, but you know how we get. I don't think any of these are going second replays. I think they're all going first. But I did just want to show them off because 2 of them were against Superheavy Samurai, and I think they had, at least one of them was against a really good player who had a lot of hand traps. So yeah. But we're going to start off here. So this is a really good opening hand. We start with Terratop, Tactenborg, go for our Cherubini. If you saw our previous like combo videos, this might look familiar to you. We're playing the Terratop just as a way to search Water Enchantress. It's also 2 free bodies. So like we're playing a Link deck. We like having free bodies, you know. Free monsters are just always good. And, you know, we have our Magician Souls as well. This card is really cool in Dragon Link. I've played it before a few times, and it always just feels really strong whenever you play it in Dragons. Sometimes it gets cut, you know, but it's definitely, like, part of the Dragon Link toolkit. So I'm just going to go, and I'm going to draw 2 cards here. And you can even see, we don't even draw good cards. Like, we draw cards that objectively are not going to impact our turn. So, but you do get to see that you do just sometimes get to draw 2 cards, and that's pretty cool. Like, that's pretty cool, right? And also, we have just started our turn, and we're already at Triple Burst Pisty with protection. So we're just going to link off into Heretic Seals here, just to give you guys an idea of like how crazy we're going. Like, we already have Triple Burst Pisty resolved, And we haven't even made Striker Dragon yet. So we're going to make our Heretic Seals. And now, finally, that we have Heretic Seals, resolved our Pisty, etc., 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 we're going to resolve Striker Dragon and Search. So just off of this opening sequence of plays, right? Like, this is just like the opening sequence of plays. We have Seals, Griffin, Token, Striker. So we have 4 monsters on the field, and we have 7 cards in our hand. We have gone +6 just starting our turn. So we're kind of in a good spot. I'm gonna just summon the Meteor here. You know, it's unfortunate we drew the driver, so we lose an extra card. But if we hadn't drawn driver, we'd have an extra card. So you know, keep that in mind. But I'm gonna play this regain and kind of like cycle a card now. Because we are gonna manage the Striker Dragon. So I cycle the Striker back. We draw a droll. We're feeling good. And then I summon back my Triple Burst. And normally, like, you would think, okay, well, he's about to make Borland, right? But we don't have rockets yet, so I'm going to link these off, make Romulus, get my Dragon Ravine, and then I'm going to Levy hand loop him. So again, keep in mind, we have not resolved Dragon Ravine or Boot Sector yet. And our end board, we already have Seals, Borland, Griffin Rider, Token, Regained, and he has 4 cards in hand. And we have not activated Dragon Ravine yet. Like, this is a better end board than like most Dragon Link players on ladder get to in the first place, right? And we haven't even started playing. So I'm going to end up pitching the Beast here. Droll and Lockbird's a really, really good card in this format if you haven't already figured that out. So I just valued it more than the Beast in this scenario. But if we had not drawn driver, I mean, I could have had both, right? So we go for Boot. I summon the Tracer, pop the Boot, and we just make Savage. I say, you know what? Double Omni Negate plus Borland, Seals, Regain, Droll. This feels pretty good, right? And just to give you guys an idea, like, this is some of the stuff that you can do with this deck. And this doesn't even feel that good. Like, this feels like kind of mid compared to some of the games we've had. So he's just going to Pot of Desires. I'm going to pause real quick because I know my chat asked me this, like, during the game. I didn't Droll after Pot of Desires because we still have access to the Seals. And Magma, and he hasn't really shown me what he's playing yet, so I'm just like, all right, we'll just hold off on this, and then, you know, I can always Seals for Magma later and decide whether or not it is worth it to, you know, like, to Droll and Lockbird him, because if his deck doesn't lose to Droll, then, you know, why cut myself off from searching from the main deck, right? So he's gonna play Morganite. We know he's on stun or something. He plays Dark Hole. And we just Griffin Rider this, you know, just negate this. And I think he just scoops here. Yeah, and he just scoops. So kind of a decent little show off of like what you can do when you go first. And, you know, not much most decks can do into that. So we're going to show off now another kind of combo. Just more fish bowling. Because a lot of you guys in the comments asked, you know, like, to just go up into ladder, like just throw this deck at ladder and just, you know, see what happens. And this is just kind of what happened. So this is another kind of like engine focused hand. I just start with the 1-for-1, pitch the Safer. Safer's not really doing anything for us in this hand. So I just wanted to test for Ash Blossom. He doesn't have it. So I chain the Griffin trying to see, it's like, okay, well, maybe do you have Max C or something? And if I don't activate this now, I'm not going to be able to. So he doesn't have it, and this gets on the board. So I say, okay, we get our black metal, we get our striker, and now, you know, we're just getting to play the game now. So the black metal resolves, we get our double search. It's like, all right, do you have Droll maybe? No Droll. Okay, so we've crossed off a lot of the major hand traps of the format already, and thankfully, because Griffin Rider is a winged beast, we're able to make Romulus. Very, very, very nice synergy with the adventure package is being able to use the Griffin Rider just as a dragon, basically. So we're just going to get our field spell. I'm going to pitch the Meteor Dragon because we already have a level 6, so don't really need the extender. We kind of have better extenders. And we're going to go for Lubellion and just get a better level 6 anyway. So kind of just a fair little trade out here. And we are going to summon our Sarnier, summon out the Lubellion. This is kind of like a nib checkpoint. It's like, all right, if you're going to nib me, you're going to do it before I like activate Lubellion, especially if I'm putting Regain in the graveyard. He doesn't do it, so we get our Beast. So it's like, all right, you don't have nib, so I know I'm pretty safe. And this might seem weird to you guys because it's kind of hard to go for Dispatter now. Dispatter is a little less guaranteed than it was before with the Chaos Ruler because you can't manipulate your Banish as well. So I summon the Magma and I just link it off. And I'm leaving this Lubellion, and some of you guys might be like, well, Lubellion's not doing anything here, like, why wouldn't you link this off? And you'll see in a minute, and that is because I'm going to Pisty, summon the Safer. I'm just going to sack it off the board and grab the Levianeer. So I was looking for this line for a little while, and I found it, so I went for it. Then we're going to grab we're going to go for our Quick Launch, summon our Tracer out, and make our Seals, you know, because we want our Seals just in case of, like, late Nib or something. We're gonna go for Striker Dragon and we're gonna pop ourselves for recharge, and it's like, all right, cool, we get the triple burst back now, right? Well, not exactly. I'm gonna go recharge effect and I'm gonna summon out the Magma. So while I did say it is harder to get out Dispatter, it's not impossible. So I summon my Levianeer here and I make sure to banish my triple burst dragon, because what I was trying to set up here is being able to get the triple burst back with the Dispatter. And then I'm going to link off the Dispatter. And again, you might be wondering why. Well, if you didn't notice, we did dump a Regained with our Saruneer. So now we're going to get that back on the opponent's turn, and we're able to still make Savage. So we still get to Seals, Borland, Savage, and we do have the Dispatter on the opponent's turn, and we get our Magnemite Search for Druist. So we pretty much got everything. We got everything. Like, so if you were wondering if this deck can still, like, without, like, the adventure stuff, like, I know we drew a Griffin Rider, but this could have been any dragon, right? Like, the deck can still make some really crazy inboards with just the Dragon Link part of the deck. Like, you don't need all of the, like, the fancy stuff. I just think they help a lot. But we were still able to make a pretty fancy board. And we're going to find out that this dude's playing Flu, so he goes for his evenly matched. And he just, you know, he tries it. It's like, all right, you know, maybe normal Robina or something now, maybe second evenly, something scary. But I think this dude also just scoops. I think, like, there's a surprising amount of, like, stun and stun type decks still floating around even after the stun hits. So watch out for those. So yeah, those were like 2 games where we didn't get interrupted and we kind of popped off. Now I want to move on to the Superheavy Samurai games. We did go first against these opponents, but they did attempt to play a little bit more than our previous opponents did. And I do want to just show that, like, this deck can beat Super Heavy. Like, Super Heavy isn't too scary. And the last one that the last replay I want to show you guys is a little bit more interactive than these games anyway. So this is one cool thing about the Terratop too. So you can see that we lead this game off by specialing Terratop from our hand because, you know, we have to. And our opponent Ash Blossoms it. And this is really, really nice for us because they have no idea what we're playing. Like, you see Terratop, you think maybe Phantom Knight, you think maybe MX Saber Invoker, you think something. You're panicking because it's like, what plays Terratop right now? Well, apparently it's Dragon Link, and we go Lubellion for Magnemite. And he's probably like, oh, what is happening? Because now it's like, all right, you wasted your Ash Blossom, so I'm going to 1-for-1 for free. So this is a really cool thing about the Terratop package in this deck, is that this card is like a magnet for hand traps because people don't think that you're playing dragons, so they're not going to interact with dragons if you just lead with Terratop. They're going to hit this part of the deck, and you're just going to get your dragon stuff to, like, go through, which is really, really fun. So we're just going to start doing standard dragon stuff now. I'm going to put the beast on the field. I start extending a little bit here because, you know, we do have the Magnemite, we do have, like, extra stuff. So we just extend, we get the beast on the field, and I go for Pisty. And we make our Pisty. I pitch the Magnemite here, and that might seem weird, but just based on, like, what we have in our hand, I was like, all right, we can just pitch this, you know, it's fine. I get my Tracer. We still have our normal summon, so I'm not really worried about Nib. And then we can just go Pisty, get back to Magnemite, and we go Magnemite effect. And I ended up looking for this line for a while. It took me a little bit to see this line because I was, like, really tunneling hard on, like, trying to get the seals here. I remember this game. So eventually I remember I have my normal summon. Like, I'd forgotten that I had it at some point while, like, looking for a line. And then it's like, oh wait, I have my normal summon. So I just normal summon the Tracer. We make the Borland, and I negate the Magnemite. We go Tracer, we pop the Field Spell, we get our Recharger, and I go for the Dispatter. And then Dispatter, you know, the only thing that it has banished is the Striker, but we just get our Striker back, we pop ourselves, and then because we didn't have to use our Boot Sector, we can now just play the Boot Sector, special the Tracer, and we get our Savage. So we still get all three, and now there aren't any cards banished for this Dispatter, but because we resolved our Magnema, we can set up a card to be banished, and I think I do that against the Super Heavy player, and it kind of just seals the game, because he just starts with a Gamma Seal, which is just insane. I've seen some Super Heavy players like playing Gamma Seal, Santa Claus, like all kinds of just like wild tribute removal. So that was pretty scary. But he goes normal summon the Soul Piercer and then go into the Scarecrow, and we're a little bit sketched out by this, right? Because we're just down to our Savage Dragon, and I say, okay, you can get your Bike. He goes for Bike Effect, and we just let that go through. He gets Soul Peacemaker, and I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, all right, Soul Peacemaker is like a little strange here. You know, like, you probably already have Wakaushi if you're not searching Wakaushi or something here. So I'm like, I'm going to go for Druis because I expect you to, like, use your Scarecrow here. So I end up banishing my Striker, and that's exactly what he does. He pitches the Benkai, and I just say, okay, well, because the monster that this summons back has to summon into its zone, I said, you know, we're going to summon the Druis, get something in banish for Dispatter. He does use the effect. He pitches a card, and Dispatter is just going to send back our Striker. It pops it nice and easy, and then we can simply just Savage Effect and get rid of the Wakaushi. You know, then maybe there's a consideration that he was, like, setting me up for Gamma or something, like if he was really big-brained. But even if he was, we still have a Beast effect, like Beast Druis, so we're kind of chilling into that. And he just explodes, so pretty nice. We ended up playing through like Gamma Seal Ash, so you know, a little bit more interaction. But this last game, apparently this player, according to my Twitch chat, this was one of the players who played at the World Championship. I'm not positive if that's true or not, but maybe it's true. According to Twitch chat, it is. But we had a pretty interactive game, even though it's only one turn. I do go first and win on the first turn. He had quite a few hand traps, so in some ways you can consider this maybe like your hand trap guide or something, as like a way of seeing how you can kind of push through hand traps with this deck sometimes. And this isn't even a very good hand, you know, like I started with Meteor plus Magician Souls, right? So I go Special Meteor, get the Driver out of deck, Special Magician Souls, get the Illusion of Chaos out of deck, and then I just pitch both traps in my hand. It's like, you know what, we got to find something. And, you know, obviously he's just going to Ash this. And I felt safe doing this because we had Cross Out, so I say, okay, I'll take the Cross Out. You know, I'm trading 3 cards for just a blind draw 2. I don't even know if I'm going to hit something good. And, you know, this is a pretty fair trade. And we draw 2 cards. And these cards are pretty good. We draw some pretty good cards. So we go Lubellion, we get the Magnemite. And I think, yeah, I go for Regained here because the Beast is in the graveyard. And I just go Magnemite effect and just banish the Meteor Dragon, put it back, because I don't remember if I was thinking about like dumping a black metal later. I don't think I was thinking about that, but I figured it was better to just keep the Illusion of Chaos in graveyard for like a potential Chaos Face or something. So I end up just linking off for the Romulus, you know, and then I go for Quick Launch. And I summon my Tracer, and I just go for Pisty. And the reason I'm not like extending out here with like Tracer or anything is he did start lighting up again, like right around here. So I was like, ooh, that's a little sketchy. Let's see what's happening here. So I end up going for Pisty and Triple Burst, using the Magician Souls, just chilling on the field, because I'm like, well, I have this Max C, you know, if something really scary happens, you know, this Max C might be able to cover me. And I still haven't used my normal summon yet, so, you know, Dragon Ravine can still get me into a play. So I say, you know, piss the effect. Let's target the tracer. See what you got. And he nibs us. I'm like, oh, well, that's really unfortunate. Let's Pot of Greed again. Let's see if, you know, second time's the charm. And, you know, it kind of sucks having to give up the maxi, but, like, it's either that or pass on a token. So I say, you know what, let's see what we draw. And we draw a Quick Launch and an Ash Blossom, which aren't bad at all. And here I do something that might seem a little bit weird. I end up Quick Launching for the Tracer, and the reason for that is that he took a really long time to pass priority back to me on the regain trigger to summon back the Magnemite. And so I know he has another hand trap now, and I'm like, what hand trap could he possibly be using on regained? Like, I thought it was Bell. I thought that this might have been Math Mech, because if you open 3 hand traps in Master Duel, like, you're probably Math Mech, like, probably. But it wasn't Bell, so I was like, it's not Bell, it's not a Bestial. What else could it be? And then I thought about it, and it's like, well, Superheavy Samurai just came out. Maybe he's playing Ghost Ogre, because Ghost Ogre is pretty good into that deck. So I'm like, let's summon out the Tracer, and then if it's Ghost Ogre, I can at least get some value out of this Dragon Ravine. So I go Dragon Ravine effect, and I'm like, I'm just going to give up this Ash. And it is the Ghost Ogre. So, you know, he pitches Ghost Ogre, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just going to go Tracer effect, pop this Dragon Ravine, and, you know, get my value there. So now we have, you know, kind of pushed through 3 hand traps. One of them we had to cross out, but, like, this is probably the worst one we could have cross-outed in terms of, like, powerful hand traps, because Ghost Ogre and Nib are both really good against this. So we go for Striker Dragon. I end up searching Boot, and I was like, wait a second, I have never made Striker Dragon to search Boot. So that was a bit of funny to me, to see that, like, we just had not summoned Striker at all in this turn. And so, you know, I just do standard shenanigans to pop ourselves for Recharger. I'm getting back the Triple Burst, and, you know, we're just going to make our Borland plus an IP. He has 2 cards in hand and a Nib. And I think we're resolving Magnemite, because I think I summoned a Magnemite in that game. So I think at that point he just realized that there's no way to win. So yeah, I'm not sure if this player was a World Championship player or not, but you know, pretty fun games. And just, you know, if you're curious about, like, how Dragonlink can push through a lot of hand traps, that is definitely one way you can do it. Is just, you know, just keep pushing. Yeah, and dragons can do a lot. One thing I will say is that it's been kind of hard to get replays for you guys, because I wanted to have a few replays in this batch that were, like, going second, like, board breaking type replays, and something I've noticed is that is just not coming up in this format, because everyone is playing combo decks right now, and the way it kind of seems to be going is, like, you draw a hand and your opponent draws a hand, and you start playing, and if they don't have hand traps, they're just scooping. And if I don't have hand traps, I'm probably just scooping, because it's just not happening. And the other thing that I have noticed is that when you do open the hand traps, a lot of people are just scooping because they expect to get OTK'd on the follow-up. So I haven't had the opportunity to really get too many of those, like, intense, you know, like, board breaking type games yet. When I do, though, I will definitely be saving those replays and sharing them out with you guys. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitch too. I think that's everything. Just get out of here.